Welcome back to Where Rams Walk. 4 games to go. Derby County are going to do it. That's the vibe around this set of fan base. Thank you very much for joining us. We're looking back on that Portsmouth game and what happened in those final minutes. Such a bizarre goal for Derby to concede. We'll talk about that in a second with Stace, Luke and Kieran. We're also picking our player of the season at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that at the end. And also, we're also going to pick our championship player of the season as well, who's impressed us the most. But let's first talk about Derby County, Kieran. So close to almost being able to sit back and put our flip-flops on that Portsmouth game. What happened?
You know what? I felt we were ahead for about 50 seconds. The first goal we scored, and then I always felt Portsmouth would get another. I'd always thought they would get the equaliser. It's a story for our season. We've not been able to keep, defensively sound, and when we faced a bit of intensity, it wasn't going to last. But I'm a positive. I think a point was good in my opinion. I was happy with the point.
Let's look at some tweets. So Luke will take your tweet actually first. I think you actually said yourself it was poor today. We need to sort it out for Friday. Gav says we gave away too many silly free kicks away, inviting balls into the box. We didn't defend high balls all game. A point though is not the end of the world, and that's one more point than I thought we would get. Says Daj. What's your take on the game as a whole? A good point or 2 thrown away?
It's 2 thrown away, 100%. Like going in front twice and then conceding like within the last couple of minutes and all. It was heartbreaking really, because I thought if we got that win, then okay, a little bit better. I think we could have gone to 18th at one point. So I was like, oh, looks absolutely brilliant from where we was. But yeah, I think we looked all over the place in the game. I think defensively, it's probably the poorest we've been all season. And I'm not going to blame. I hate blaming the refs. I'm not going to blame the ref, but my God, I counted 30 tackles that weren't even hardly a tackle, and it was a foul every time. We did give silly away free kicks away, but I don't think they were free kicks half the time. I thought the referee was terrible, but like you say, we've got to win the game ourselves. That lump up top and just heads it, just bobbles in. It's terrible defending. And if we'd have won, would have been not last place going into Friday.
Yeah. Cheers for that, both of you. Stace, I'd imagine Eustace is going absolutely mad in that, just so you know, that second goal. Such an uncharacteristic way to Derby to concede a long ball forward. The Portsmouth striker, some Derby fans were saying, just won everything in the air in that second half. Was your view of it as well?
Yeah, a little bit. There were definitely goals that were uncharacteristic. Don't concede that many from set pieces, and then a corner and a long ball at the end. But I think the game management for me, more than anything else, we knew that the ref was happy to give free kicks for pretty much any form of contact, and we weren't smart. We gave a lot of free kicks away, especially in that last 10, 15 minutes, and invited a lot of pressure. But to be fair, if Jerry Yates scores for second header, game's over.
Yeah,
but yeah, the fact we created so many chances and looked really good going forward gives me a lot of confidence for the last 4 games. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, just all of you, just generally have a conversation about this. Performance-wise, you could probably care less about what the performances are, but have you seen enough in recent weeks with how you play, especially at home, to suggest that you are going to be going into that Stoke game on May the 4th or whatever it is without a care in the world? You can win, lose or draw, and you'll still be up. Will it be done by then or not?
I've got a sneaky feeling it'll still be things to play for. I think we'll be outside of the bottom 3, but it's so tight at the minute, isn't it? And all the teams seem to be picking up some form of results. Even Plymouth, no one saw that one coming against Sheffield United. So, yeah, I think it'll go to the last day, but I think we'll be fine.
All right, let's have a look at them, shall we then? So Luton then, Kieran, this Friday, West Brom away, Hull away, and then, as we mentioned, Stoke already at home. That Luton game, given that the next 2 are away from home against tricky side in West Brom and a team fighting. Is this Luton game absolutely massive then? Is it the biggest game of the season so far on Friday?
Yeah, you could argue. You could argue massively. They're 6-pointer. I feel Luton have just not shown me enough this season that I think they could stay up. I think they're going to go down. And I think they've had a lot of injuries these past few weeks as well that kind of make me a little bit more confident going into that game. West Brom, they may be going for the playoffs, so I think that'll be a tricky one. But Hull, I have a sneaky suspicion. I think it'll be Plymouth, I think it'll be Luton, and I think it'll be Hull going down. Because Hull are just in abysmal form. They're not winning, they're not scoring. The fans don't have any cohesion with the squad. So yeah, I think if we can get wins against Luton and Hull, then West Brom doesn't really matter. And that Stoke game, hopefully, fingers crossed, it can just be a Craig Forsyth testimonial again.
Luke, are you as confident as Kieran?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'd have been really nice if we'd have held on at Portsmouth. Then the Luton game wouldn't have been as massive as it is. It would still been a big game, but I just think now Friday's absolutely huge. We need to win. We need to hope results go our way. I think West Brom's a tricky one. We've not actually got a bad record there. I mean, Hull away, I think, is winnable. I think Stoke last game of the season, I hope it don't come down to that. I don't think it will, but I think that's absolutely winnable as well.
I mean, you've already beaten West Brom this season, haven't you? As well, we mustn't forget that in the reverse fixture as well. Stace, I think Eustace is going to get a statue outside Hyde Park if he somehow manages to keep this side up, because it was looking, wasn't it, back in February as if you were already gone at one point. There was that gap, and somehow now here we are talking about beat Luton and you're pretty much safe.
It was bleak at times in the winter, but those 4 wins have made a huge difference. So I think without those 4 wins, we're gone, aren't we? So he's turned it around. It was noticeable as well yesterday how many times players got him ahead of Jerry Yates. So he gave Yates an option to pass. Harness broke past him quite a few times. Ebu playing further up the pitch is doing it as well, and it's making a difference.
Yeah. All right, let's look at some more. 17 Story says, another late goal against Derby. How many times has this happened? Do they switch off? Old Big Ed used to go crazy. He used to say, kick the ball into their half. They can't score from there. But trouble with this lot is they want to dribble it out. You seen that, Kieran, at all?
Yeah, I felt when Marcus Harness, if he just clears that ball, just pumps it forward, we wouldn't have considered that equaliser. I think they score after the corner. So yeah, it's a difficult one. But the positive signs are that we're scoring goals, because I think there was a time, especially when we lost to QPR away, we just didn't look like we would ever score after about 100 years. So if we can outscore most of the teams, we should be all right.
Okay. All right then. Of course, Cardiff lost as well, so I'm sure you were waiting on that result coming through. Just in general, how have you found, Luke, the standard of the Championship compared to kind of what you expected? You this time last year you were in League One, you were securing promotion around this point. You had the expectations of how difficult it would be and the quality of it. Has what you found surpassed or lowered your expectations?
I think when we got promoted, I came home and I spoke to a couple of mates as well, and I said, look, it's going to be hard for us next season. I said, just above relegation, I'll be happy. Like, I'm not bothered, just stay up. But it's been a lot trickier than I thought. It didn't help with Warren and not changing out the transfer windows, not strengthening in right places. But no, I think it was as tough as I thought it was going to be. But there's a couple of sides that I've been really dragged into. I thought, I can't believe these lot are down here. Like Luton, I just don't know what's happened there. It's crazy. Same with Hull under a senior. They was absolutely brilliant, been dragged into it. So yeah, there's a lot of teams that have surprised me how poor they've been. Yeah.
What about you, Stace? Have you been surprised at lots of people are saying that the quality of the league this season is not good?
Yeah, I don't think it's as good as it was when we were last in the Championship. The standard isn't quite there, is it? And I think that's probably shown when you go to the teams that get promoted to the Premier League and have no chance. and then come back down. The gulf's getting bigger, but I don't think the quality is necessarily improving in the Championship. It's still exciting, and because everyone can beat everyone on the day. But yeah, I would say it's probably not as good as it was 5-6 years ago.
Okay. All right, then. We'll leave the Portsmouth game alone there. Good travelling crowd for Derby as well. We need to point out there as well. I mean, to be fair, you had that all season, haven't you? And, incredible away support. Right, let's choose our player of the season then, shall we? We know the club is starting already to ask this and is due to be awarded soon. So let's get in there first, shall we? Luke, kick this off for us. Who deserves it and why?
So we have this with our supporters group. We do it every year, and the majority vote it's been Ebo Adams, 100%. I think he's been absolutely brilliant. He's in there, he's everywhere, winning tackles, pushing the ball forward. I did want to give it to Fozzie, but I just couldn't because I think Ebo Adams has been the standout for us in my opinion.
Okay, Stace.
Yeah, another vote for Ebo. I think he's the most consistent player we've got. I think if Curtis Nelson hadn't got injured and cashing out and left, they would have given him a good run for his money. But Ebo for me. It's every week, you know what you're going to get. Never lets you down.
Brilliant. Yeah, it would be magic if his contributions send Cardiff down, wouldn't it, as well? Kieran?
Yeah, I'm going to go Ebo Adams. I think he's just been class. He's just been at the heart of everything. He's so positive in his movements, so positive even post-match as well. I think he's a fantastic character. Yeah.
Okay. All right. 3 for 3. And let us know in the comments if they missed any shout-outs as well to any of the players. That'd be great. We're also, finally this week, awarding the Championship player of the season. Now, you're not allowed to choose a Derby player, not that you probably would, and disrespect. But based on your observations of games against Derby that you've been at, you watched live or on TV, who's been the one player that you've got you out of your seat, or you've tapped someone next to you saying it's a good player, this guy? Stace, let's kick this off with you.
I think I'll probably go Boyer Science when he played at Priory Park. He gave us an absolute run around. Couldn't cope with him. 3 very good goals. Yes, the linesmen and officials played a part in 2 of them, but he still played us off the park, didn't he?
Okay, fair enough. Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. I had 2 in mind. I had Borges Haynes because, like you say, I thought when he comes to Priory Park, he was absolutely magical. It's a shame that Norwich have had the drop off they have because he's been absolutely brilliant. And my other one was Marcus Edwards for Burnley. Now, the other night, he was absolutely running the show. And I said to me next time, someone's got to break him because we're going to be in trouble. But I thought he was absolutely brilliant. He's been good for Burnley. But no, I think I will just go Sains over Edwards. But I think they've both been fantastic this season.
Okay. Kieran?
I thought when we played Leeds, I don't think he played that many minutes. I think he played about 20 minutes. But I thought when Dan James came on, I just thought he was just Premiership quality. He was amazing. He was really fast, really energetic. So, yeah, Dan James. He didn't do enough that game, but this season he's been class for Leeds.
Okay, good shouts all round. Thank you very much. Right, we will keep our fingers crossed then for the game this Friday against Luton. Win, and are we saying win and we're safe? Win and it's...
Winning is a bit more comfortable.
Okay.
I think we need...
4 more points?
6 points. 6.
Okay. I'd say 6. Yeah, 6 is safe.
6 is safe. All right. So by the time I see you again after there's 2 games this weekend, we'll be able to say Derby County is safe. Fingers crossed. And who'd have thought we'd be saying that in January? Oh my God. Right. Thanks for joining us this week. Do drop us a like and a subscribe if you haven't yet done so already. We'll see you in 7 days' time after this bumper Easter weekend. Have a good one.